Howdy! My name is Jacob Moreno, and in this video I will take a look at some of the greatest players to ever grace the hardwood. By using data, I will finally be able to provide an answer to the question, who is the greatest of all time?
GOAT? No, not that GOAT. There we go. Greatest of all time.
It is already in the name, but what exactly does greatest of all time mean? Popular opinion has defined someone who is in the GOAT status as someone who through hard work and dedication has taken their game to heights not thought possible.
From Babe Ruth to Tom Brady to Serena Williams, these are all athletes who have dominated their respective fields and have done it in a fashion that the world has never seen before.
But what about basketball? This is one of the hottest subjects in the basketball world, and the answer to who is the GOAT will get a different response from almost every individual you ask. Ask someone who was born before 1950, and they will tell you,
Wilt the Stilt was the best player to grace the planet. His length, size, and leaping ability were unmatched.
Ask someone who was an avid fan in the 80s who the GOAT is, and they will tell you,
The all-time scoring champion, six-time champion Kareem, of course.
ask a fan from the 90s and 2000s, and they will tell you, MJ is the GOAT and no one can dispute that. He had a killer instinct never seen before, which led him to be undefeated in the finals. Ask someone born in the late 90s or 2000s, and they will tell you, LeBron is the best player to ever lace him up. He is the most well-rounded basketball player of all time, and he even proved he was the GOAT in 2016 when he came back from down 3-1 to beat the best team of all time, 73-9 Warriors.
the unique thing about the NBA is that every player has unique skill sets, and not all of the players have dominated the game in the same fashion. This is why it is so hard to tell who is the best player, because not everyone weighs the skills and the accolades that these players have as the same. My goal is to use this data to provide an answer to the question, who is the GOAT, without using any personal biases.
Through a little Excel work, Google searching, and some copying and pasting, I was able to complete a dataset that contained the key stats that I believe go into being the GOAT. The dataset consists of career averages of the 5 main in-game stats: points per game, rebounds per game, assists per game, steals per game, and blocks per game. After that, it lists the accolades of these players. These consists of first team All-NBA, second team All-NBA, third team All-NBA, All-Defensive First Team, All-Defensive Second Team, Defensive Player of the Year, scoring titles, MVPs, Finals MVPs, All-Star selections, and championships. Before running a regression to see what stats related more to winning, I created a GOAT score metric without weights. The results are displayed on Ranking Sheet 1. The top 5 turned out way better than I would expected and resulted in a list that I feel most people might agree to. What I noticed that was the more well-rounded players soared to the top, whereas those who possessed elite offensive skills but lacked defensive accolades such as Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, were limited to moving up. I also added GOATs Ron Baker, Alex Caruso, and Kirk Hinrich just to see how they might fare against other elites of the NBA. They didn't fare too well. After examining the first list, I ran the regression to see how these stats related to winning percentage. A lot of interesting things came up. Steals show that it doesn't relate much to winning percentage, but blocks on the other hand really do. The most impactful stats that contribute the most to winning percentage are All-Star selections and first team All-NBA selections. And if you think about it, this makes a lot of sense, as someone who is the GOAT in their field will likely have the most sustained success throughout their entire career. For the weights, whatever had a positive correlation to winning got a 1.05, and whatever stats had a negative correlation were weighted 0.95. The All-NBA selections were weighted 1.05, 1.00, and 0.95 for first, second, and third teams respectively. Championships were the only category that was weighted the opposite of its correlation to win percentage. Here's the second list after the weights have been applied.
As you can see, Jordan is still at the top of the list. The weights do change the list, but don't shift the top 9 at all, and in fact only add more separation between the top and the bottom of the list. This might be for the best though, as we want to make sure the elite are shown off by our metric. Lastly, I wanted to take a look at LeBron and see what he had to do in order to become the GOAT, according to my GOAT metric. He, of course, is at a disadvantage in comparison to his competition because he is still competing, whereas everyone else in the top 10 has retired.
In Ranking Sheet 3, I take a look at a semi-realistic outcome if LeBron played at least 3 more years. I gave LeBron 2 more All-NBA First Team selections, 1 more All-NBA Second Team selection, 2 more MVPs, 2 more Finals MVPs, 3 more All-Star selections, and 2 more championships. If this were to happen, LeBron would leap Kareem and he would be right on MJ's heels. In the last ranking sheet, I did the same thing as the last one, except I assumed that LeBron's next 3 years are perfect. I gave him 3 All-NBA First Team selections, 3 MVPs, 3 Finals MVPs, 3 All-Star selections, and 3 championships. Finally, LeBron is able to pass Jordan on the GOAT metric.
What is so interesting about this last ranking to me is that it not only shows how LeBron can eventually become better than Jordan according to my GOAT metric, but it also shows a little glimpse into what would have happened if LeBron had gone perfect in his final appearances a la Jordan. If LeBron went 6 for 6 in his final appearances, he would be a lot closer to Jordan in the metric. But unfortunately, he is not. Hence, why my GOAT and why my metrics GOAT is Michael Jordan.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got the real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright.